Amara said, and flashed him a smile. "How much did you win?"
14 silver bulls, Enos said, his tone unrepentantly smug. Lord Aquitaine's head valet just can't seem to help himself when it comes to gambling.
Amara finished the broth, and Enos immediately filled her hand with another mug of tea. She sipped it. Delicious. Perhaps she'd managed to walk all the way to a warm bunk before she collapsed after all. "Is he available?"
"The captain is in conference with Lord Aquitaine," Enos said, "but he insisted that I take you to him as soon as you arrived."
"Aquitaine," Amara murmured. "Very well. Thank you, Enos." Enos bowed his head to her with another smile, and Amara strode over to the commander's tent. Winters here in the south weren't nearly so frigid as in Alera's more northerly reaches, but they were generally cold, rainy, and miserable. The tent was doubled, one slightly larger one outside another, creating a small pocket of warmer air between the interior and the outdoors. Amara opened one flap after another and strode into Captain Miles's command tent. It was a fairly spacious arrangement, lit by a trio of bright fury lamps hung from the central post. The post itself was part of the large sand table in the center of the tent, one currently molded in the shape of the topography between the Legion's camp, at one end, and the city of Calare at the other, with small models representing the various forces scattered about it. Other than the sand table, the room contained a writing desk, several camp stools, and a single small trunk and bedroll resting upon a folding cot, Miles's only personal gear.
"And I'm telling you that it's the only way," growled Miles.
He was a man of average height, but built like a stone rampart, all stocky strength. His armor bore the dents, scratches, and permanent scorch marks of the action it had seen since the beginning of Calare's rebellion. There was grey threaded through his short dark hair, and as he paced the length of the sand table, studying it, he moved with a slight but definite limp.
"If we don't move in concert, we'll risk defeat in detail."
"Don't be such an alarmist," the second man in the tent said. He was far taller than Miles, long-limbed, and sat on a camp stool with an easy confidence that made him seem to fill more of the tent than Miles. There was something leonine about him, from dark golden hair that hung to his shoulders, to his dark, hooded eyes, to the casual strength evident in his shoulders and legs. Aquitanus Attis, the High Lord of Aquitaine, wore a red silk shirt, dark leather trousers, and evidently felt no need to wear armor.
"If 2 years here have shown us anything, it's that Calare can no more easily maneuver through the fens than we can. The chances that he'd be able to catch your force in time are minimal."
Miles glared at the other man.
"I note that if we follow this plan, your own forces will be completely insulated from danger."
"If it works," Aquitaine countered.
"We'll roll up Calare's mobile forces before summer is fairly underway, and besiege the city within 2 weeks after. And if it doesn't, my men face everything Calare has left on their own."
"It is a war, Captain," Aquitaine said in a mild tone. "There does tend to be the occasional risk." Miles snarled out something under his breath, and his hand fell to the hilt of his sword. Aquitaine's teeth flashed in a slow, feline smile. "Captain, don't you think we should hear from the good Countess before we discuss this further?" Only then did Miles glance over his shoulder and see Amara. There was color high in his cheeks, and his eyes glittered with anger. He glowered at Amara for a moment, then shook his head, composed his expression, gave her a nod, and said, "Countess, welcome." "Thank you, Captain." She nodded to Aquitaine. "Your Grace?" Aquitaine gave her a speculative stare and a bland...